Hey, so I said I would talk about CSP Sacramento today, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. um, okay, so there were two specific officers working there who were witnesses to an inmate being murdered by other inmates. But the whole thing was set up by the officers themselves. They even practiced it the day before, so they would know exactly how it was supposed to go down. Then there was another one who was witness to inmates being set up, things being planted in their cells, things being planted on them, all kinds of crazy shit, right? So these two officers came forward. They filed their reports on the other officers that they worked with. They did the right thing. They did everything that they were supposed to do. These two officers were actually really good guys. Unfortunately, after they did that, they began being threatened, constantly being hazed by their coworkers, and one of them even had to move out of state because of this. So one of them had to move out of state because of it, and he ended up committing suicide. I don't know the specifics of, exactly what he did. And I'm not going to reveal his name or information either, out of respect for his family. The other one, I don't know if he had been using drugs before this happened, or he started using drugs because of this happening, or if his intention was to commit suicide by using these drugs. But he overdosed on fentanyl in his own home, and they didn't rule it a suicide, although that's kind of really what it looks like. And again, out of respect for this officer's family, I'm not going to reveal his information or name either. There have been many others who have also come forward there, and even while my husband was there, he overheard another officer tell a new one, whatever you do, don't get caught up in this bullshit. Come to work, do your job, get paid, go home. Unfortunately, about, I want to say 2 or 3 weeks after that happened, that new guy started being a dick. As well as another guy who was working there who had been pretty nice, he had been pretty cool, real decent person, all of a sudden he was major asshole. He started acting different towards my husband, had an attitude, making faces and shit like that. And my husband started to wonder, okay, what the fuck did I do? And I kept telling him, you didn't do shit. Unfortunately, some people are weak-minded. They're pushovers. They're easy to control and manipulate. And to be perfectly honest, that is a majority of those officers. That's exactly what the fuck they do to each other, and what the fuck they do to other inmates also, especially the ones who are EOP, which is guys that have mental health issues. They manipulate the hell out of them. And these guys, I mean, you know, sometimes it's just because they want attention. Sometimes it's just because they feel like, hey, you know, he talked to me, he smiled at me, you know, and it's enough to pump up their self-esteem, you know. Or sometimes it's just, I got an extra tray, I got 5 more minutes on yard, they gave me another phone call in the day room, whatever, you know, an extra fucking roll of toilet paper. And for shit like that, they're kissing these officers' asses, you know, and these officers are using them to do their fucking dirty work for stupid shit, like I said, you know, things that just make no fucking sense. But again, they've got mental health issues, so it's easy for them to get caught up in that shit as well. Today we are back in Lancaster. So we'll see how it goes this weekend. Hopefully no harassing, you know, of any kind, shape, or form. Because I do have my stack of citizen complaints ready to fill out and ready to go. You know, I'm not one that you can really walk over. No, I'm going to stand up for myself, stand up for my kids, stand up for my husband, you know, as well as stand up for other people who don't have anyone to stand up for them. Because that's the right thing to do, you know. Think about it. If it was your family, then what? You know, so I have to put myself in that position. A lot. And I tell my husband the same thing, you know, which he does on his own. And I'm extremely proud of him for that. He's always trying to help people out. You know, if somebody doesn't have food, he doesn't wait for them to ask. You know, he'll ask them, hey, did you eat today? Are you hungry? I got you. Don't worry. You know, and my husband tells me all the time, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you've done. Everyone eats at our table. And that's true. 100 fucking % true. Even guys that have been my husband's cellie, you know, that have no one to look out for them, we've bought them packages, we've put money on their books for store, you know, all of that. And it's not because we expect anything in return. Not at all, no. It's because we don't want to see anyone suffer or go through shit that they shouldn't have to, you know? It's bad enough. They're already there. They're already doing their time, you know? They're away from their family. Why should it be any worse? So, there have been a few instances where, you know, we've helped out, like I said, guys that have been his cellies or even other people, and they turn around and they've done us dirty, you know, and I mean, it sucks, but still it's no ill will towards them either. I explain to my husband sometimes that's just people that don't know the value of paying it forward, basically, you know. They don't know what it is to do something good for someone else because they've never had that before, so they don't know how to appreciate it. And that's fine, you know, to each their own. It happens. I mean, it sucks, but it happens. You know, like I said, no ill will towards them. It is what it is. And we saw that happen a lot there at CSP Sacramento. We saw other people do it to other people. You know, we went through it also. We even saw cops do that shit to each other too. And I really don't know what's worse. If it's, you know, the cops doing that shit to each other or homies doing that to each other, you know. That's not how it should be at all. You know, people don't realize what they have until they don't have it anymore. And when that shit happens and someone's ungrateful, yeah, I mean, you know, we don't tell them anything, but I just cut the person off. You know, like I said, it is what it is. And then they realize, oh, damn, I fucked up. You know, all they did was help me out, and, you know, now I got nothing. That's a lesson learned. You know, hopefully they don't go do it to anyone else either. So, okay, back to CSP Sacramento. There were a lot of people there who had commutations, had pardons, clemencies, and had already done their time too. They even had their enhancements dropped also, you know, just like my husband. But they were still doing time there. Because these officers will write them up for any little thing. You know, you get a 115, that's what, 6 more months? Which is bullshit. And then they want you to do whatever you have to do to get that time cut off, right? And if you're not book smart, you know, some of these guys are illiterate, you know. They were never taught anything. So it's not easy for them to take these classes and courses, you know. And that's where these cops will jump in and be like, oh, okay, well, you know, you do this for us, we'll cut off this much time, whatever. But these guys don't realize that these officers don't have the power to do that shit. They could falsify paperwork, you know, and give it to them. And to them, they're like, oh, okay, you know, the time got taken off or whatever. But then they go to board, or they go to committee, or they go talk to their counselors, and they see, ah, fuck, like that time is still there. What the fuck happened? You know, they did me dirty. And then they turn around, you know, and either they do something to the cop, or they just get themselves into more shit because they think, well, fuck, you know, I'm never going to go home. It's just going to keep fucking going like this for me. I might as well just give up. And then they continue to fuck up. And, you know, they lose hope. They shouldn't, but, you know, they do. Instead of looking at it like that, they should look at it as more motivation to get the fuck out of there, so that they don't have to keep going through that shit. But, you know, it's easy for us to say that because we're out here. We're not in there. We don't have the same state of mind, you know. We don't feel the same emotions that they're feeling while they're in there. So there was an officer who also worked there who was transgender, right? And she was being sexually harassed by the other officers who worked there. You know, being put down, ridiculed, you know, bullied, all of it. She, however, didn't put up with their shit. She did, if I remember correctly, press charges for it. And she won, right? She still has her job. I don't believe she's working there anymore right now. I think she transferred somewhere else. But, you know, good for her. Good for her, you know. Hopefully she's doing well somewhere else. And hopefully she won't ever have to go through that bullshit again. So, there was also an inmate there who was real quiet, you know, always kept to himself, didn't come out of his cell. And one day, he went out of his cell, beat the shit out of some guy, and they moved him out of there. Nobody knew why he did it. But after he got transferred out, they found a big ass stack of happy cards in his cell. Those who are prison wives, or those of you who have done time before, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. So clearly it looks like dude was paid off to do what he did, and they transferred him the fuck out. Okay, this guy was extremely unstable. Hence the reason why he kept to himself and always stayed in his cell. He was doing time because he basically had a mental breakdown and walked into a hospital, walked up to a nurse, and he didn't know. He had never seen her in his life. She didn't know him either. She had never seen him either. And he stabbed her multiple times. So he was locked up for that. You know, in court they said, you know, he's mentally unstable. You know, it was basically a psychotic break. But instead of putting him in a state hospital or getting him the help that he really needed, they put him at CSP Sacramento. Worst fucking thing that they could ever do. And they do that to a lot of guys, you know, unfortunately. They really do. Hopefully this broken ass system gets fixed one day, hopefully sooner than later. But Attorney General Rob Bonta and California Governor Gavin Newsom are not doing their jobs. They're too fucking worried about climate change and people using electric cars, raising the taxes, putting taxes on gas and shit like that, you know. And yeah, I really can't wait for them to get their fucking heads out of their asses and make a change like they should. By the way, if you guys get a chance, look up on Amazon. There's a book called The Green Wall. It's by, I can't pronounce his last name, but his first name is DJ, and then his last name starts with a V. It's an amazing book. He was a correctional officer. He's going up against CDCR. He's fighting for a change too, and putting on blast these correctional officer gangs, which are shit worse than the Mexican mafia, the syndicates, cartels, all of that shit, because these guards can literally make them do what they want. It used to be that inmates ran these prisons. Not anymore. These guards run these prisons, not the inmates. And it's the inmates who live there. That's their house. That's their home right now. Would you let anyone walk into your house and run shit? Hell no, you wouldn't. So I have a lot of trouble understanding why they allow them to. But I mean, times have changed. Shit, it's not what it used to be. That's for damn sure. Hopefully one day, you know, that'll change too. Not to say that it was any better before, right? But these prison gangs that are made up of officers are bigger than the other gangs. They are worse than the other gangs. more corrupt. I mean, it's fucking horrible, and that shit really does need to end. CSP Sacramento, I believe, is the worst of the fucking worst. It turned out to be a lot worse than Lancaster, which we thought was worse than Kern Valley. It just seems to get better and better. So, like I said before, now we're back at Lancaster, and we'll see how this shit goes. Update today is Friday. No, it's Thursday, my bad. And I have not heard one word from my husband since last Thursday. So yeah, I'm worried. I am. I'm worried about what I'm gonna find when I walk up in there tomorrow. But at the same time, I'm gonna walk up in that shit like I own the motherfucker, with my chin held up high and my chest out. I'm not gonna show them that I have any feelings towards them whatsoever. Fuck no, I'll never let them win. And my advice to anyone else visiting their loved ones this weekend, do the same. Don't let them intimidate you. Not one fucking bit. Let them know, hey, I'm here for my man, I'm here for my lady, whatever the situation be. And that's it. You're not there to put up with their shit. You're just there to make sure that your loved one is doing okay. I mean, it's really all that we can do. And fight CDCR from out here. With that being said, I'm going to end this video. And if anyone has any questions, any comments, feel free to comment. Feel free to email me if you have a story that you want to tell or that you need to be told for you. If you don't want to send a video, that's fine. You can send an audio file, Just do a voice memo and go ahead and email that to me. That'll be fine. And I'll post it for you, or send me an email, typed out, and I'll read it for you also on the next video. So I hope everyone has a safe and great weekend with their loved ones. Fuck CDCR. See you guys tomorrow.